Hello, gorgeous. My name is Jessica Angelari, and I'm a feminine embodiment, pleasure, and intimacy coach. And today we are speaking about something really juicy, one of my favorite things to actually speak about. If you know me and if you've looked through my channel, you'll notice that I speak a lot around the feminine, reclaiming your womanhood, sexuality, sensuality. And one way to really step into your feminine power is through your yoni. So today I want to speak about and reveal what the yoni is and how this is the beautiful place of your feminine to fall in love with yourself, and how this space is the source of your creative power and how she is there to awaken your pleasures. And we can return to the yoni for so much healing around the feminine. So today I'm going to speak about reclaiming your power as a woman through her. And then in another video, I will outline some juicy secrets and ways that you can start implementing to begin your journey of connecting with your yoni. Your yoni refers to the vulva, your vagina, but also your womb space, the labia, your inner and outer lips, your cervix, your ovaries, the pussy portal, the entrance, your clitoris. All of this holds your universe, your knowings of your womanly codes. If we really want to get real about talking about the feminine, this is where it has to start. And I feel like this is not something that a lot of people are speaking about. I believe if every woman was connected with her yoni, with her pussy power, and knew the ancient wisdom that she holds for you, we would see a woman trusting herself. She would trust her feminine power to magnetize effortlessly, to magnetize the sacred masculine. She would be unstoppable. She would know when to say, that's enough. And that means she would know her boundaries. She would know when to trust, when to soften, and not be afraid of this strength in the softening. This is why I say that this is the way to reclaim your womanhood, because your yoni invites you to soften. She teaches you about your feminine nature, which is dark, it's mystical, it's unknown, and how the light and this rapture, this delight can be found here. And the way to connect with this cosmic space of ours is when we give ourselves permission to soften, to connect. If every woman connected with her yoni and had this loving relationship with her like it was her best friend, we would see women trusting her power. We would see them trust her power to create. Every woman would trust her magnetism and her natural radiance. And this radiance is sourced from within. It's not from how perfect your nose is or how flat your stomach is. We would see women never settle for less in a relationship if women started to have this beautiful sacred relationship with the yoni. She would know that her sexuality is sacred and it's a sacred act for manifestation. She would have more love and compassion for herself and then for others. We were never taught about the sacredness and power of this space. And so a lot of us are still holding resistance. We're holding the taboos around her because of the fact that we don't even realize our very own innate power that is held within this space, which is our yoni. And if we really understood how much power and life-giving energy this sacred gateway holds, we wouldn't be feeling so much shame. around our voice, around how we are expressed, around our sexuality, and we wouldn't be disconnected from the feminine. We wouldn't outsource our energy and outsource our power to the social constructs of what it means to be a woman. And the best place to start is with this connection with your yoni. So, right now, I invite you to notice how your body feels when I speak about this. And as I continue to speak about this today, how do you feel? What sensations become present when I say the word vagina? What about the word pussy? You can even try saying that out loud. Pussy. There's so much to be reclaimed here. And the first step is to notice the tension in your body when saying this word, when saying the word vagina or saying the word pussy, because there's so much taboo still around this word. But what if we reclaimed this power of ours by reclaiming that word and shifting the connotation around it and start seeing it as a power? And just notice if you do feel that resistance when I do speak about this. We are very disconnected from our very source of the feminine, but this is where feminine empowerment starts. So the first step is always just your awareness, just you noticing your body. Because so often we focus on mindset work, or we focus on being more feminine in the eyes of the wounded masculine, and that our worth depends on how young we look, or what we wear, or our makeup, how contoured our face is. So the best place to start when really diving into feminine empowerment work and self-healing is in this space of the womb and your yoni. So your yoni is the essence of the divine feminine. She is your creative life force, and she exists within all of us women. The ancients knew this and they worshipped this divine source. So yoni is translated from Sanskrit as the sacred temple. How amazing is that? A sacred temple that we get to hold in our womanly body. She's the sacred source, this divine passageway of the goddess. And she is the sacred source for creation. So your pussy power is the essence, the gateway to your pleasure and power and beauty. And this is how you know you're feminine. And this can't be felt just by reading books. This is a bodily experience. Your yoni expresses the magic and the sacredness and power of your female body. And as a woman, you are so blessed to house these magical powers of creation right here in your yoni. I mean, you not only birth a beautiful baby through this channel, but also your radiant inspirations and creations. This is where we house it all. This is where life begins. So it makes sense that the yoni is the portal to life, that she is the gateway, the great gateway to your erotic innocence, the pure existence of your soul. She's housed here. And it's the most feminine part, along with your breasts, the most feminine part of your womanly body. So your yoni, just like your breasts, which are connected to your heart, is the most receptive and most sensitive part of your body. And because of this, every time that you might have a painful experience and you choose not to feel the certain emotion, what happens is you create an armor around your sexual organs, and you create an armor around your heart because they're connected. And this armor that you carry protects you from pain, but it's also blocking you from experiencing excitement, pleasure, bliss, and receiving all of that. It blocks your radiance, your natural radiance, that glow. And this is the work of the yoni. It's important that we know this. It's important that we know how to really attune to her and her messages and start developing that relationship with her. So then we can slowly break down that barrier that really blocks our ability to receive. When you start to return to your yoni, so much healing does take place. Because the truth is, there's so much misunderstanding around the yoni, around the vagina. And as women, it is not something that we openly speak about, especially when we're feeling or seeing physical discomfort there. And most women I know are disconnected from their yoni. Most women would never even speak about the yoni and what she looks like. We feel fear around her. And this also can really show how much we are still carrying the shame, the pain around our own feminine nature, around our own expression. We're carrying this shame deep within ourselves, deep within our body for centuries. And so most women haven't seen her yoni, loved on her yoni, touched her yoni, and no fault of our own. It's just an attitude that has been instilled within us. We haven't been taught how to even consider her or even relate to her or connect with her and listen to her. Most women haven't even touched her in the most sacred, loving ways. They haven't spoken to her to see what touch she truly desires, to see if she's even ready to be penetrated. And because women haven't seen and appreciated her for the loving, magical temple that she is, the yoni has fallen asleep, we can say. But every time that we feel fear around really connecting with her, we block ourselves from our sensual nature. And we feel fear around her because it can feel dangerous. It feels unknown. It can feel a little bit overwhelming as well if we haven't been given these sacred tools. The thing is, we're ignoring our very own erotic power. And then through that, we also stop knowing what we desire. And then through that, we stop knowing what our purpose is. So for lots of women, the wisdom, the voice of the pussy is very faint, and we don't hear her because we have ignored her presence and her magic. And when we do this, we shrink ourselves. We stop connecting from what makes us feel good. We feel guilty around feeling pleasure, around feeling good. We disconnect from our true, authentic nature, and we disconnect from our intuition. We have less energy, we have less life force, we don't know where to direct our life force, this very energy that is able to help you manifest and help you create. And so because of this, we're not present. When women are not present due to the disconnection with her body and her yoni, this really affects the way that she knows how to show up in the world. And this affects the rest of the world as well, because they're missing out on your voice, on your beauty, on your love. Instead, we doubt ourselves. Instead, we don't know what we actually want, what we desire, what we yearn for. Which is why I always say that pleasure and your sensuality and sexual energy are connected to your purpose. Our truth is not present because our desires are not present. And that's because we're not present with what makes us feel good. And the yoni can teach you so much of this. She teaches you pleasure, which is what your feminine is about. This is why it's so important to come into this deep, loving relationship with your yoni to really know your power, to be connected with your body's wisdom and intuition. I personally dream of a world where we can speak so freely about our yoni, about our body, and even the pain and the discomfort that we feel. I want this, I desire to make this a normal talk. And that's why I love holding space in my ceremonies, in my programs, because I know that we really connect with one another in this, in our stories, in the way that we feel, in our disconnection, even in our connection, in our pleasures. So it's our responsibility, and it's my desire to really bring women together to wake up our feminine through the yoni, because our yoni is in this great deep sleep. And when we wake her up, we come alive again. Our body comes alive. And when you wake her up and you have this loving relationship with your yoni and you really listen to her, you realize that she has a lot to say to you. And obviously, it doesn't come in the same way as the mind or intellect, because she doesn't speak to you. She speaks in that way. She speaks to you in a way that is a feeling, a knowing. So when you're connected to your own source of pleasure and fulfillment through her, the less you look outside for the answers, the less you look outside, the love outside of yourself, and you no longer create relationship patterns and sexual dynamics from a needy, disempowered place, because you realize you are your own source of power and wisdom and love. And she teaches you this, and she also teaches you pleasure. So you start to feel more pleasure when you connect with her, when you adore your yoni and your body. What you're also doing is worshiping her as your own goddess temple. And she will be so grateful, and she will grant you every ecstasy and pleasure to you. You become this giver through your nourishment and ravishment of her, and she will receive in more ways than you can imagine. And this is such a delicious journey of the feminine, which is my whole soul's mission, to holding space for women and guiding them into this, because it's such a liberating act. And this is what we do in Feminine Remembrance, a 10-week group program. It's just such a beautiful reclamation that happens here of the feminine. And there's so much healing around our sexuality as well that happens through the yoni. And that's because everybody requires this constant healing on their sexuality. Sometimes when we have neglected the yoni, you can feel blocked in your hips. You can feel tight or pain when having sex. So think about that as well. When you are in a sexual act, how are you feeling? How are you allowing her to feel? Are you connecting with her? You can offer yourself deep, loving attention through relaxation and healing tools to help you safely release blocks stored in your yoni. And as I said, you can also start to really dissolve that armor that I mentioned that's been built up around your yoni. We often store stress and unprocessed emotions in the yoni, and she can speak to us through pain. So if she's asking for your attention, she will often speak to you through pain, either through sexual experiences, even pain during your period. She can show up as dryness or burning sensations, a sense of numbness, which shows up as dried up energy for life as well, which is why this work for returning to her is so vital, to feel more connected to your body's wisdom, to ignite your vitality, and to renew this source of life force energy. So as I mentioned, when we express our appreciation and love of the yoni, what we're also doing is worshiping the feminine in all her forms. By worshiping the yoni, we are worshiping the universe. For you are the universe, the truth of being a woman. We worship the beauty of your uniqueness, because every yoni is different. So when we worship her, we are returning to your unique, sacred feminine. This is such a sacred act, and a way to reclaim your sexuality as sacred, as this great connection to spirit. We return to the true meaning of being a woman. We come back home to the truth, your purpose of being here. And when we start to see the yoni for what she truly is, the universe, the wholeness, the gateway to your divinity, to the goddess, we start to see ourselves as that also. We start to see things a bit differently. Our lens of beauty opens up, for love opens up, our compassion for others opens up. And because here we realize that when we're not separate from spirit, we carry this power within us, this source of all existence. So let me ask you, sister, what is your relationship with your yoni? Do you feel that it is unexplored? Do you feel curious about her? Do you love her? Do you love your connection with her? Do you feel resistance? Maybe something else. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to witness you. And there are many yoni healing modalities that you can do to practice awakening and healing your yoni and coming into this great loving connection with her. Some being the yoni egg practice, which I recommend you doing in sacredness, and the yoni steaming and yoni massage as well, which I do teach inside of my feminine remembrance group program. I actually have a whole module dedicated to yoni awakening, where we, as the conscious woman, we enter this sacred space and we are taken on this beautiful journey of self-awareness and pleasure and connection and love, to honor and heal your relationship with your womanhood. This is what I desire for all women. And it can really start here by exploring all the depths and corners of your yoniverse through your great sacred touch and your breath. This is where the true feminine empowerment occurs. And remember, I also have my 7-day free series, Erotic Feminine Embodiment. And in there, there is one practice where you'll be guided into connecting with your yoni. So you can start this great journey of connecting with your yoni. It's a beautiful, gentle self-love practice, embodiment practice of connecting with your yoni through visualization. So if you haven't joined me in that, I'd love for you to join. I'll drop the links below. It's a free 7-day program. I know you're going to love it and be taken on a great journey of pleasure, self-love, healing, and connection to your feminine. I will leave you there, gorgeous. Look out for the other video with some different practices that you can start doing. And I will see you so soon. I'll see you next week. My name is Jessica Angileri, and I'm sending all of my love and passion and pleasures to you. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe and to like this video. Mwah. Bye.